Hey, what's up? I'm Luke, and today I'm going to show you one of my most favorite programs ever. It's basically one of the building blocks of all of my workflows. It's called Alfred. It's an application launcher. It's awesome. Pew, pew, pew. Laser sounds. I'm going to show you how to set it up. I'm going to show you the features that are in the free app, and then I'm going to show you all of the PowerPack features that I use as well. I definitely recommend getting this app. If you do get it, tweet Alfred app and say the productivity shop sent you. But either way, it's an amazing program. This is going to be a super long video, so I'll break it up into parts. So if you do want to watch it in parts or jump to certain parts, you can do that. But let's get started and woo, yay. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and go to alfredapp.com and download it. I'll open the DMG, drag it into the applications folder. And once you have that done, you can go ahead and open it up. I'll go to the Finder, I'll go to Applications, Alfred, and open it up. So you'll see the little hat icon show up at the top right. And what I'm gonna do is go ahead and open the preferences if they didn't open up already. All right, the first thing that we're gonna do is we're going to change the Alfred hotkey to be Command Space. If you don't wanna do this, no problem, but I'll go ahead and show you how to change the default keyboard shortcut from Spotlight to Alfred. Alfred is basically Spotlight, but does way more things, and I like the keyboard shortcut Command Space, so I'll go ahead and show you how to do that. So I'll go to System Preferences, I'll go to Keyboard, Shortcuts, Spotlight, and I'll deselect these two options here. Once I can do that, I can click inside of the Alfred hotkey field and do Command Space, and it'll allow me to change it to Command Space. All right, now that we got that done, let's do a little tour. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Alfred. Now, first, it's an application launcher. So rather than have to have a ton of icons inside of the dock, you can quickly type the first two letters of any program and it'll jump to it. And Alfred will learn what you choose. So if you do PH and then select Photoshop, it's going to put that result first. If you do PH and then do Photo Booth, it's going to do that result first. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to type in PH, and then if I want to select the first item, I just push Enter. If I want to select the other items, I just press 2, 3, or 4. Now I'm going to go to the Features section in the Preferences. And if you close the Preferences, just go to the hat at the top and click on Preferences. And you can see Default Results. So back in the day, whenever hard drives weren't static or solid state hard drives, searching the entire hard drive wasn't a good idea. So Alfred limits the scope of what you can search for by default. So here I can search for preferences, contacts, and applications. So what I'm going to do is search for Luke, and then my contact will come up. If I search for keyboard, then a preference will come up. Now let's say you want to search for something outside of the scope of these items. What you do is Command Space, Space one more time, and then now it's going to search the entirety of your hard drive. So if I search for fonts or whatever, it'll find any file on my hard drive by doing Command Space, Space. Now if I search for certain things a lot or certain types of files, for example, I like to have folders in my default results because of my way that I organize my files. See other video, plug. And then so what I'll do is I'll add folders to include them in the default search scope as well as AppleScripts. So if I want to change to dark mode, now AppleScripts will go ahead and show up. So I don't have to do Command Space, Space, Change, Dark. I can just do Command Space, Change, Dark, because of the fact that I selected AppleScripts to show up. All right, if you want to add another file type, you can go to Advanced and just drag any PDF or any type of file or JSX or anything like that there. Cool. Next, you can search the internet with Alfred. So if I search for how to make cake, it's not going to find how to make cake inside of my default scope. It's going to assume that I want to search the internet. So all I have to do is push Enter, and then it'll search Google or whatever search engine that you prefer. You can change it in the settings with the query that you entered. Whenever you enter a query, it's going to use your default browser, which is defined inside of the General tab of System Preferences. You can go to System Preferences General and change default web browser to choose which browser you would like Alfred to use. I'm not using a script, so I'm proud of myself for not messing up. Okay, so next we are going to use a prefix to search a certain website for a term. Now, what do I mean by that? So let's say I want to search for IKEA. And usually what I would do is go to Chrome, I'd go to maps.google.com, and then I would type in IKEA. But if you go to Alfred preferences, so I'll do command space to activate Alfred, and then I'll do command comma to activate preferences, and the keyboard shortcut is a reminder right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to web search inside of the feature settings of the preferences. You can see that Alfred has some preloaded web searches that will automatically search a certain website with your query. So you can see here, I'm gonna do maps as an example. You can search Google Maps for query, and the keyword is maps. So rather than type where is IKEA and it'll just Google that query, I'm gonna type maps and then do space and then type IKEA, and it's gonna insert IKEA directly into the search field for Google Maps. It's pretty powerful. So there's all these other different ones. So I can do YouTube, the productivity shop. Oh, I can't spell, surprise. Anyway, not showing up because I didn't spell it right. I'll blame it on that. But one other cool thing, so what you can do when you're typing a keyword is you do command space. And if you see it's the first result, you don't have to keep typing the word. You can push enter and it'll complete the word. Let's say if it was Twitter or longer, then you can do your query. For example, if I do Amazon and push enter, it'll finish the word Amazon, and then I can do whatever. Now, I use the Google Maps ones a lot. So what you can do here is customize the keyword. So you just double click, you push M. So now I can do command space, M, IKEA, boom, and it makes it even faster. Okay, now let's say you wanted to go ahead and set up your own custom search for a website that you use. I use it for my Works wiki because I search that a lot, and then I also use one for SoundCloud. This is the default settings here, so it's not there, random tidbit, but let's go ahead and set up a default search. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a search in the website that I want to create a web search for. So I'm gonna do command space, Chrome, and then command L and go to soundcloud.com. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do a search for Daft Punk. It's important that when you do this test search, you use 2 words so you can see how the search in the particular website handles the spaces. Okay, so I can see here is the search URL. I'm gonna go to Alfred Preferences, go to the Features Web Search area, go to Add Custom Search at the bottom right, and then I'm gonna read this little phrase here. Perform a search, blah, blah, blah. I hate whenever people read things that you could read yourself, but the URL is basically, you want to look for anything, your query here. I know that it makes sense, let me rephrase. So you want to look for the search query here. And instead of Daft Punk, you're going to put curly bracket, query, curly bracket. So I'm going to copy the entirety of my test search from Chrome, put it in here. And then instead of Daft Punk, I'm going to do query. Okay, then the next step is to insert how the website treats spaces. So here you can see the % in 20. So I'm going to put that % in 20. Normally I think it's plus signs, but whatever you put there. Okay, then I'm going to call it SoundCloud. Okay, and then the keyword, just like maps, and I change it to M for the Google Maps search, I'm just going to do SC. That's what I remember for SoundCloud, whatever first comes to mind. Then for OCD purposes, I'm going to go ahead and Google SoundCloud, and then I'm going to go to images, or this will work. I'm going to find an image, and then I'm going to drag the image into the little icon area. That's kind of a bad one, but you get the point. So that way, every time that I do the search, a little image will pop up, and I'll show you how it works. But before you push save, go ahead and push test, and it'll go ahead and search your website for Alfred apps so it's working. Let's go ahead and save it, and then we'll use our new custom web search with Alfred, command space, SC, boom, Daft Punk. So you can see the icon, you can see SoundCloud, I'll push enter, and then boom, it's searching SoundCloud for your result. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, next I'm gonna show you how to change the appearance of the Alfred window. You can go to appearance, and then they have some options here. I think you can also import a theme, but basically you can click on the elements and then change them. Let's see, go to options, there's some things here. I like to change it to the maximum number of results. Yeah, so just a quick note on how to change the theme, and I'll post the theme that I use. I'll show you that one in a bit. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make an example, and I'm gonna call a folder on my desktop main folder. Now, if I wanted to search for that using Alfred, I can just type main folder and then push enter, and it'll go ahead and navigate to main folder, and it'll navigate and open the folder that I just typed. Now let's say that I want to navigate to a folder and I do it really often, but typing the entire name just takes a long time. Or I want to rename the folder, but I can't because it's a shared working environment. There's a way to add a shortcut into the comments in the info panel, and you can search for the shortcut instead of typing the folder name. So I'll show you how to do that now. So let's say this is a work folder here, and I'm going to go ahead and create a shortcut for this messenger design folder, but I don't want to change the name because everyone else is using it. I'm going to do Command I, and then in the comments sections, I'm going to do messenger main. And then I'm going to go ahead and close the info window. I'll go ahead and close the Finder window here, and then I'll search for mess main. And then you can see the first result is what I just left the hint on. So I'll go ahead and push enter, and then it'll show up here. Pretty cool. So the last thing that's pretty cool with the free version of the app is the ability to control the computer. So if I want to shut down, I can go to Command Space and type in shut down. It'll automatically shut down. I can type in LO for lock. I can sleep the displays. I do that a lot. Sleep the displays or the computer. And to see all of the commands, you can go to Command Space, Command comma, and then I'm going to go to System, and you can see all of the possible commands here. One that I use a lot is quit, and I usually change this to Q. I use force quit a lot. So like, let's say you're looking at something and your boss walks by and you need to close a program really quick. This works well. Quit all works amazingly as well. I won't do that because I'm recording the screen. Lock is one that I use too. Okay, so let's go ahead and I like to do hide a lot. So if I wanted to quit Google Chrome really quickly, I could do Command Space, FQ, and then it'll list all of the open applications, and I can just push enter. It's like FQCH, and it'll narrow the results to Google Chrome, and it'll force quit it. If I wanted to open it back up and just regularly quit it, I would do Q, Chrome, enter. And the reason why it's Q is because I changed it here. So that's pretty much what you get with the free version of the app. There's like a calculator and other things, and you can just search through everything here on the left side. But what I'm gonna do now is gonna go ahead and activate my PowerPack, and we're gonna get to the really even more awesome features of Alfred. All right, so to buy a PowerPack, you can go to their website. I'm gonna activate my PowerPack. Can't see my license. All right, so the PowerPack is activated. And one other cool thing, just that I'll point out now, they have usage tracking, and you can see that I use it on average 100.2 times per day. Now that I have the PowerPack, the first thing that I'm gonna do is remove those fallback results. So I'll go to Features, Default Results, Set up Fallback Results at the bottom, and take off these babies. You can add more if you want, but I hate it. One time my boss, previous boss said, Luke, I never have to say, tell me how you really feel. So, okay, I'm gonna change some things here. I'm just gonna go through the settings, and then as I go through the settings, show you some cool stuff. Okay, so here, I'm gonna go to 40. Navigation, fine. Buffer, fine. Advanced. I like to make sure that this is checked. Run AppleScripts instead of opening. So if I want to do change dark and I push enter, it'll go ahead and run the script. I'll back up a little bit to see what that does. It's a AppleScript command to change the dark mode, and I'll post it on the description box as well below this video. So I'll do change dark and I'll do enter, and it'll go ahead and run the AppleScript that I want. If I want to open the AppleScript rather than run it, I just go ahead and type the query, and I'll do Command O on the selected item, and it'll open it up in the default program. Actions, file actions, Big, big, big. This is a huge thing. So for the selection hotkey, go ahead and make it F11. It's just my personal preference, okay? This is a really big component for using my Dewey Decimal System, the Carter Decimal System, or whatever the way I organize my files, and I'll show you why. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the Finder. I'll make an example. So example folder. Okay, so let's say I have my file catalog. I want to put this main work folder inside of my file catalog because I'm working on a particular project. So normally I would have to click the folder and click, 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 and paste it. Okay, that's why people's desktops and downloads folder is so messy, because that takes forever. So F it, people just whatever. But with file actions, what I can do is I can select the folder, activate file actions by pushing F11 or whatever keyboard shortcut you chose. I'm gonna go ahead and choose an action. So I'm gonna go ahead and move to, but without using the mouse or the Wacom tablet. I'm gonna type move to, it's the first result. I'll push enter, and then I'm gonna type the name of the folder that I wanna put it into. So it's 100 LC project 1. So I'll just push enter. And then what it's gonna do is gonna automatically move that folder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 levels deep. So whenever I download stuff, I'm constantly doing F11, move to, let's say I want to put in my downloads folder, boom. Let's say I would go to my downloads folder and I want to put it back into my project folder. So I'll do move to, projects, and that's my file catalog because it has the dot space, enter, boom. Super, super powerful. You can also do plenty of other things. You can email it. So let's say I have a screenshot and then I want to email this, F11, email, boom. It'll go ahead and open my default mail program and put the screenshot as an attachment. Awesome. One cool thing for programmers, like let's say if I wanted to open this path at the terminal, F11, terminal, boom, and it'll open that path right there in the terminal so you can do your actions. All right, so file actions, awesome, pretty cool. Let's keep going. Okay, next, go to features, clipboard history. This is really, really cool. Basically, the clipboard history will keep track of everything that you copy and put on your clipboard. So every time you do Command C, you can keep it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all three. Okay, I'm gonna change the viewer hotkey to Option Command H, just because I think history, you can keep it to whatever you want, and then keep all this the same. For merging, I'm gonna do fast append selected text, and then I'm gonna do merge text back into clipboard. I'll show you what that is in a second. And then advanced, I think that's fine. All right, so what is clipboard history? I'm gonna go ahead and open up IA Writer, which is just a text program. So I'm gonna do an example. Let's pretend I get an email. I'm just gonna type it as text to pretend. But let's pretend that I get an email with some FTP information. So normally what I would do is I would select this, do Command C, go to my FTP program and do Command V. Then I'd go back, select this, Command C, go back, click the field, Command V. I think you get the point. But what I can do is, instead of doing that, what I'll do is I'll do Command C, Command C, Command C, and copy each item separately. Then, since I have my clipboard history activated, everything that I copied is now saved. So I'll go ahead and do the keyboard shortcut to activate clipboard history. And then what I can do is I can see the last three things that I copied and some 9gag stuff. Okay, so if you're on the Slack channel, Best of 9gag is a great channel. Okay, so I can just do paste and it'll paste it, activate clipboard history, go to the next one, activate clipboard history, and go to the next one. What I can also do, like let's say I am chatting with someone and I sent a 9gag link to them and I want to send it to someone else, but I don't want to go back to the original source where I sent the link to get the URL, but I know that it was the last one I sent. I can activate clipboard history and then I can get all the results that were on my clipboard with this particular query. It's really cool. Now, there might be some security issues to this, but I have a password on my account. And then if I want to clear it, all I have to do is Command space, clear, and it'll clear the clipboard history. So if you copy passwords, normally if you use a program like 1Password and you copy it, it'll only stay on your clipboard for 1 minute and then the program will automatically take off your password. So with 1Password copying, it does not keep in your clipboard history unless you paste it and copy it over. Anyway, another cool thing, whenever I went to the clipboard merging, this is pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do an example. I'm gonna write 3 things. Now, how to use clipboard merging is you go ahead and copy the first item and you do Command C. Now what I'm gonna do is copy the second item and do Command CC, and you'll hear a little noise. Now when I paste, it's gonna put the first thing I copied and the second thing that I copied together. So if I wanted to do more items, I just have to keep doing Command CC, Command CC. So Command C one time is to start, one time. So I'll do Command C, Command CC, Command CC, and then I hear the sound each time and it'll put all of the things I copied into one paste result. That's cool. Okay, one cool feature is contacts. You can search for your contacts. So if I search Luke Carter, and I can view the contact in Alfred, and if I had an email address, I can just copy it there. Okay, another cool thing is to create hotkeys. So I'll show you how to do that. One of my favorite hotkeys, and I recommend it as the first one that you do, is a keyboard shortcut to go back to the Finder. I'm always needing myself to just do this and go back to the Finder, whatever window was there. So I'm gonna go ahead and open Alfred, Command Space, open Alfred Preferences, Command Comma, I'm gonna go to Workflows, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and do blank workflow. I'm gonna call it Go to Finder. I'm gonna search for finder.app, and then what I'm gonna do, and this is really cool with Alfred, you can drag things from the Alfred search results into other items, like into a Finder window or wherever. So I'm gonna drag this little icon there, boom, now we have our icon. So description is go to Finder, and then I'm gonna just ignore the rest. All right, I'm gonna right click anywhere in this stage, and I'm gonna do triggers, hotkey. Okay, and I want my hotkey to be Control F. All right, next I'm gonna do another one, and I'm gonna do actions, launch apps and files. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna search for finder.app. I'm gonna drag the Finder app into this little window, save. In order to connect them, so whenever I push Control F, I'm gonna go to the Finder. So now if I do Control F, boom, it'll take me back to the Finder. So I have lots of keyboard shortcuts. I'll make some more videos later, but basically that's how to create a workflow. People create workflows and put them on GitHub. I'm gonna show you a couple in a sec. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and restore my settings. So whenever you have the PowerPack, you can save your settings and then sync them with Dropbox and have your settings on multiple computers. Once you start using Alfred, like if I use a computer that doesn't have it, I freak out. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go to Advanced and then Set Preferences folder, and I'm gonna navigate to my Dropbox folder where I have my settings. Kind of been roughing it during this demo. So I got my settings restored. All right, I'm gonna run through a bunch of stuff very quickly so I can not make this a million hours long and also not have to type all of the captions. Okay, some cool workflows that I can post. One is called AirDrop. So basically what you can do is in order to activate AirDrop, you just type AirDrop and it'll open up the AirDrop folder, something that I use pretty often. There's one called Open Tabs. Let's say I have a bunch of tabs open and I forget which tab is SoundCloud and I don't want to have to open it up again. What I can do is activate Alfred, type in tabs, and then I can type in the name of the tab I'm looking for, and it'll search through all of my open tabs in Safari and Google Chrome, and when I push enter, it'll activate that particular one. Pretty cool. There's also a really cool workflow for Giphy, and you just do GIF, and you could do like cool beans, and it'll automatically search Giphy for cool beans. You could also do the custom web search for that. Okay, I'm gonna show you something that I call the magic 1-2 punch. Okay, so let's say I have this screenshot and it's inside of this folder. Okay, and I wanna open it in a different program, or I wanna place it in InDesign. Okay, so I want to place it here. Now, if I do file place, the file dialog here is in a totally different place and you have to redo that work. So here's where my magic 1, 2, or 3 punch comes in handy. What I'll do is, because I navigated to that picture that I found, maybe it's in my downloads folder or somewhere else, I'm going to do Control F to go back to the Finder. There's what I'm looking for. I'm going to do F11 for file actions. I'm going to go up for copy path to clipboard. I'm going to do Enter. I'm going to go back to InDesign with Command Tab. Shift Command G to go to folder, Command V, and then push Enter, and it'll navigate directly to the file. Now, if that's a little complicated for you, because I love my keyboard shortcuts, another way to do it is just Control F, and then you can move the folder and drag your result directly into this window. I learned that trick recently. And then a third way to do the same thing is go to Alfred. I'm going to go ahead and back up here. Go to Alfred. I'm going to navigate to my project folder, and to browse within Alfred, all I have to do is push right. And then now there's like a little file example here. I'm going to go to main folder, and then what I can do is drag it here so you can see that it did the same thing. So 3 ways to get some files that you just navigated to into a new program's file dialog. This is another really cool one. It is a script to navigate to the last thing that was on your desktop or downloads folder, and then to open it. So, okay, what do I mean? Let's say I take a screenshot. It's gonna show up on my desktop. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to push Control Option D, and it's gonna highlight that last item that was on my desktop. Now, if I download something, let's say I have a bunch of files in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and download something. Nice! I say that a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna download this GIF. All right, now it's in the downloads folder, so I wanna navigate directly to it. So I'm gonna do Control Option L. Now I make up these shortcuts. L is for downloads folder and D is for desktop, but Control Option L. And it's gonna highlight the exact file that was just in there. Nice is the right thing to say. Okay, now instead of doing Control Option, I'm gonna do Shift Control, which is I call the stack. So if I do Shift Control D, it's gonna open the last item that was on the desktop, so that screenshot. Okay, boom, it delayed result, but it opened in Photoshop. Now I'm gonna open that GIF, and that's in the downloads folder. So I'm gonna do Shift Control L. Boom. Nice! So it's really powerful. So you download something, it can open right away without having to navigate to the downloads folder or desktop folder. Next, another workflow called Timezone. I love it. You can do TZ and you can see all of the time zones compared to where you are. And if I want to say what time is it will be at 4 o'clock, I can see all in 4 o'clock my time zone, it's going to be all of these times around the world. I'll just send you the link to that, or maybe make a video later, but they have setup instructions in the GitHub. Another workflow that I use, and I go a lot, is to go to the desktop, Command 12. That's one that I use often. I'll send you that one. And then lastly, 1Password can be integrated with Alfred. So you can set that up here. I'm not going to click on it because it has some personal information, but basically all of your 1Password entries are now shortcuts in Alfred. So if I want to open Media Temple, I can do Command Space, Media Temple, and push Enter. It's going to ask me for my password, and then it'll open up. So I'm going to go ahead and do it again, assuming that you just entered your password. So I'll do Command Space, type in Media Temple. I'll click on the first one, and it'll automatically open the website and fill in my password again. I'm going to do another video on 1Password. Super awesome. Alfred is awesome. The people who make it are pretty cool too. Anyway, I love Alfred. Alfred app, I love you. And yeah, so sorry for the long video, but this is a really big thing that I use all the time. And I hope you like it as much as I do. And of course, as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me at hello@theproductivityshop.co or join the Productivity Shop Slack channel. And thanks so much for watching. See ya. Hey, a quick PS. I'm going to be officially launching Productivity Shop and sending out an email blast, and I just wanted to thank all of my subscribers that I have so far. Thank you for all the comments and the nice emails and Slack messages and everything. I might send out a little surprise or a little postcard for my subscribers that I have now as a thank you, so join this Productivity Shop Slack channel and send me your address if you'd like. But thanks so much for being my first subscribers, and I really appreciate all the support. Later. Not bad for 2 kids. That's what Trixie Mattel. That's what Trixie Mattel said once. But not bad for no script. That's what I was gonna say at PSS.